Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome to another video on my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna and I'm a full-time fantasy writer. Do you ever have one of those days where you have the motivation to do absolutely nothing? Yeah, today's one of those days for me. And there's this technique I've been keeping in store just for a day like this. So let's get started. So the technique I'm going to try today is basically a modification of the Pomodoro technique. I came across this technique through a video by Kate Kavanagh. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I will have her video linked in the description. So the entire concept is that you start with a dedicated 50-minute block of time where you do whatever it is that you want to do. In my case, I'm going to write. Once you're done, you get a 10-minute break. Normal Pomodoro stuff so far, right? However, for the next sprint, instead of doing a 50-10 split, you're going to do a 40-10 split and then a 30-10 and a 20-10 and finally end it with a 10-10. That will give me a 2.5 hour dedicated window for writing along with breaks in between. So without further ado, let's get into the first sprint. I am going to spend the first sprint revising the chapters I've written so far and fixing whatever I don't like. Okay, so I'm done with the first sprint. In this sprint, I was only able to go through the prologue. As far as word count is concerned, I'm in the net positive of around 450 words, which I think is pretty good given that I rewrote a lot of stuff. Now it's time for a 10-minute break and I am going to go make myself some tea. Okay, now that our tea is here, let's get back into sprint 2 and this time it's going to be for 40 minutes. So let's set the timer and we are good to go. Sprint number 2 is now complete and I'm happy to report that not only have I finished rewriting everything from yesterday, I have also started a new chapter. I'm only 200 words in, but this is more than what I hoped to accomplish in this sprint. As for word count, the second sprint was actually slightly higher at 550 words, but I attribute it to the fact that I actually wrote new material instead of rewriting the one I had already written. Anyways, now it's time for my 10-minute break and I'm gonna go play with my dogs. See you soon. Yes, good, good. Shall come. Sprint 3 is going to be all about writing a new chapter. And the hope is not to complete the chapter but to get certain key scenes out. So let's get started. Finally, sprint number 3 is at an end. I've only added about like 200 words to the total, but it took me a long time to figure out how exactly the chapter will unfold. I'm going to listen to some music and then we'll come back for the fourth and the fifth sprint. My 10 minutes are up and it is time for the 20-minute sprint. I think this stepping down thing is a genius idea because I only have to work for 20 minutes and I am genuinely excited to get back to work. I don't know how much 20 minutes will achieve, but let's give it a shot. Sprint number 4 is now complete and I have written about 250 words, which brings the grand total to about 1500-ish words. I am very tempted to skip this break, finish the last 10 minutes and call it a day, but I'm going to force myself to take this break. As to what I'm going to do, I do not know, but I'm definitely going to get off this chair and move my body because I've been here for an hour now and I think I really need the movement. Let's go. Round number 5. I am so excited to get this done. I don't know how much I'll be able to write in 10 minutes though, so let's find out, shall we? And with that, we are done. I managed to squeeze in 150 words in the last sprint, which brings our grand total to 1748 words. This was great. I think I'm going to try this technique a couple of times again just to get a hang of things. But I feel that this is going to be my go-to technique for days when I'm absolutely not in the mood to write. Thank you for hanging out with me. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Talk soon.